Let's start at the back of the ship. It's just going to be fairly routine stuff to start with. Grabbing polygons, resetting them, pulling them up. Sometimes the reset peel tool will not align things to be completely straight. For example, there's a straight edge here, but it's projecting on an angle. That usually happens when the object has got some sort of not quite aligned plane. So what we can do is use a planar map instead. Planar map is this projection here. We set what projection direction we want for that, and we'll just, to force it, we'll just go fit. This is XYZ axis, so actually it's the Y axis there. But we could also go best fit. That pretty much gives us what the unwrap is doing, projecting in the square. So let's put it to Y, and we get a perfect square. Okay, whether or not that's ideal for what we're after, we'll find out later, but it'll do for now. You have to remember to turn off this so that then you can come back in here and start wiggling stuff around. So that's that piece. Now when you go around a corner, we have another piece here. It's all nice and planar, so we can planar map it. You'll see that it uses the same projection that it just used before, right? We could also use reset peel for that, and it'll be done. Notice it's on an angle. It takes a little bit of effort to rotate it into what you want. So again, we can use planar map, go best fit, and you see it kind of projects it to the square rather than to its actual shape. So you have to be aware that after you project it, you should proportion it relative to what the polygons actually are. Once you've got the two pieces, figure out whether it's top and bottom. Okay, so that's flipped. Flip vertical. Right. You can see all the pieces line up, right? And then we can overlap them a little tiny bit, or join them up, and just come up here and go weld. Alright, so we just move on and on from there. I would imagine that this kind of maps as a piece, like so, maybe even to the top there. Although this looks like it's going to probably belong on the bottom, so we'll just go with that for now. We'll go unwrap and see what we get. Typically I will use unwrap first, or peel, they call it, reset peel. And if that doesn't work spectacularly, then I'll try another method. But if it works pretty much what I'm after, then I'll go with it. So what's wrong here is that these bits that stick out are coming off on an angle, and we can just auto correct them ourselves. If you want to line up pieces like literally, you can grab a bunch of vertices that way and use one of these. There it goes. There's alignment tools here. So space horizontally, it's if you want them to be 3 in a row and you want them to be evenly spaced. In this case we actually want them to be vertically aligned. So there's tools analogous to this in Photoshop for aligning stuff, and a lot of programs have this kind of tool. So I guess the icons here are a little strange, but if you know how to do this in graphics programs, Photoshop, Flash, all that, then you won't have any trouble here. A lot of the time I don't even really bother tidying it up that perfectly, but here we do have pretty much straight lines. Now, the reason that we're not kinky and weird as this part before is because of the change of angle here, and the change of angle as we go over the 90 degrees too. Okay, but that's pretty much what it will project like. Now we've got this bit in the middle here. So we'll just grow it. You see this goes blue because it's connecting edge. And the polygons, this one's already been mapped. That bit, and then you see that's kind of spread out in here. So you know, I think again a straight unwrap polygons would be fine. Let's try using another little trick, although it may not be that big a problem, is that these edges here are kind of pinching in. So what we can do is go to what they call the peel tools and edit the seams for the model. So a seam is just some edge, and you can go into edit seam mode. In this case it's just two edges, we control click them. And what they kind of do is, if you imagine cutting fabric, you can have the cuts that you would then sew together later on, and that's pretty much you adding a cut here in the fabric. It's pretty straightforward. So once the cut is there, when you unwrap it this time, or peel it, whatever, you can see that this time it has the split. Right? Proportionately, we know that all these guys are relative to each other, so we can go relative scale. That gives us, we'll go to elements mode, it gives us their relative shapes. Okay, and again, you know, once we're kind of happy with it, we can push those off to the side. Later on we'll be grabbing all this stuff and doing another relative size change. You can do it at the end, but I tend to do it from time to time during the build. Okay, what's happening here? This little guy is a pivot for, like if you do a rotate now, it'll rotate around that pivot. See? Again, Photoshop transforms are sort of similar to that. It's like the free transform tool with its own little pivot point. So you just click on it and drag it around, so it can touch onto a corner, rotate and scale around that point. The main thing with UV mapping obviously is things don't overlap. We'll worry about the overlapping parts later on. I want to lay this out from back to front. So we know this is at the back, so it'll go above. This is kind of in front of that piece. This is in front of that piece. These bits are kind of in here, but I'll just put them here for now. So that later on when I stack all the UVs, I can kind of arrange them something and respecting the original locations. So what do we do now? Let's just do this piece here. It's pretty easy to deal with. Play my map. Rotate it a little bit. Oops. So we're working out really far away from it. It's usually easier to grab points and stuff when you zoom in. So this guy belongs up with this one here. But does that mean we should? Does it mean we should weld these two pieces together and figure out? It's kind of odd, figure out which edges we want to deal with. So yeah, the edges are these ones here. So if we weld the two together, it's going to distort it, so we won't bother, essentially. We'll just place them side by side. And move on. Here's an interesting point. Now we've got all this part here already done. And we've got this point there. I'm thinking not to join these two guys together, have a single bit for all that. Oh, we could do it, but anyway. So we've already selected out that bit. That gives us these guys. We'll just quickly map those. They'll map to that middle square. Although in this case they're not doing that. Do the top one too. Anyway, they'll map to that middle square usually. For now, maybe because of that. They seem to be staying where they are. These guys fit onto the edges of that, so I think they could be joined in. When you join pieces together, it's really important that you join the correct corners. So one way to figure that out is to go into points mode and turn off select element, and just grab a point on that target, and you know when you see a blue one that it joins up. So there's the blue one. So we pretty much can be sure that this piece fits onto there directly. Let's try this one. Grab that piece there, so it's that corner, and that piece is that corner. So I guess it's kind of same. We don't need to do any flipping or anything like that. Let's grab those guys, move them up, scale it down. As much as you possibly can. You don't want to have multiple pieces, so having this piece broken off is no real benefit. If you can join it in, then you probably should. Although it takes a longer time to set up. So a program like Unwrap UVW will not do this kind of part, as it'll do it, but not as not with the same reasons as a person, you know. Weld directly. Okay, we'll target weld. Target weld is point to point, and you just click on one and drag it, and then drop it over when the cursor changes. So again, I will do the top. There it goes. Here. So again, we can space these vertically, and probably these guys do. Alright. So the computer, when it does an automatic unwrap, doesn't really know that you want a given piece to be isolated off from the rest, right? It'll just choose for itself where all that distribution will happen within reason. Like if you did a computer unwrap, you could expect that the computer would figure out that this shape here would probably belong together, but no guarantees, right? So it's usually better to figure it out by yourself. Let's see what we have so far. When we select all this, we see it in the viewport, and we know that, okay, we've done that bit, and we need to do the bit under here. I'm going to wrap all that around, and take it to the middle, just to do in 2 parts. I might just take it all. Let's try using a tool called Unfold. This is as if you were taking a cardboard box and just taking each face of the cardboard box and flattening it out to the next one, like a dice or something, you know, and then laying each step one after the other in order that they come up as you turn it. But we have 2 rows of polygons, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Not too bad, but you can see it's really long and skinny. I have to pause the video. Actually, it worked out pretty good, but it's too long, so what we'll do is we'll break it into 2. We'll do a tools mirror horizontal, flip horizontal, same thing really. Let's finish the video there just to save time.